Stage simulator. This is how that rain has affected things. Already the Fords are dropping back on their hard compound tyres as the road gets increasingly slippery. The Citroens pulling away through every corner, both Germany and Latvala. Way off the pace, more than 3 seconds down, and there's still a long way to go in here. Well, Seb's never been beaten in Germany. Remember, his almost instinctive ability to judge the grip levels again on display in these wet conditions. Riding on board with Loeb now on full softs. That tyre choice doesn't look like so much of a gamble now. Seb is completely in control despite the increasingly wet conditions. Now let's join Latvala through the same section. The rain getting really quite heavy now. And on the hard compound tyres, Jari is going to struggle for grip compared to Loeb. Really tentative on the brakes, and the speed's noticeably down on the world champion. It's almost an effort in itself to keep the Fiesta on the road, and this is looking like a costly stage for the Finn. Germany has never been a happy hunting ground for Petter Solberg. In 8 attempts, the former world champion's never finished higher than 5th. And that is a mistake, underbraking for Petter in the rain. Also caught out on hard tyres. The Norwegian is a minute off the pace in stage 2. Like his teammate, Jari-Matti Latvala lost more than half a minute to the Citroens in stage 2. His hold on the rally lead has unfortunately proved rather brief. Now onto stage 3, and it looks like even more bad news for Latvala. He's picked up a slow puncture, more time lost. You can see his right rear wheel down to the rim. A rally that had started so well, looking increasingly bleak for Jari. Matt Osberg has little experience of competing on tarmac in a WRC car. He's competing in 8th, but a mistake there from Mads, just caught out by the gravel in that corner. He's clipped the curb, and the Norwegian has damaged his right rear suspension. Soon after, he's forced to pull over to make repairs, and he plummets down the leaderboard. Rejoining the Mini drivers now, and it has been a strong start for both Meek and this man, Danny Sordo. The Spaniard has tweaked his suspension setting slightly for these stages, and it's enabling him to push even harder. He's up to 4th, following Latvala's problems. Our British driver Chris Meek is also moving in the right direction as he continues to learn the limits of the John Cooper works. He's not had much luck in the first 2 events of his new team, but so far so good in Germany. Meek is up to 5th. Ken Block's back for his 5th rally of the year, and after his own miserable run of luck in 2011, the American is desperate for a clean run. Oh, but a big whack on the Armco, and like Osberg, he's damaged his suspension there. So we've had 3 different leaders in 3 stages. Loeb is now in the top spot, and it's been a disaster for Ford. Hirvonen more than half a minute behind Loeb, while the former leader Latvala has slipped to 7th. At service, that tyre choice is dominating discussions.
Prediction of the weather was that it's a lot of chances of rain in the loop. We didn't know exactly where and when, but so we took the safety choice. Soft tire, 4 soft tire and 2 hard tire, and we tried with that.
And to help us understand how Citroen got the weather right and Ford got it wrong, where do you get your information from? Who helps you decide?
We just look on the TV. Yesterday it was some prediction of rain in the morning.
These stages are different in a World Rally car than they are in a Super 1600. I can remember what I'd done in a Super 1600 if I dropped it a gear here. But in a World Rally car, they're so much more capable. You know, you have to up your game. So yeah, I'm still learning a bit, but it's really enjoyable.
To the afternoon loop then, and there could be some dirty tarmac out there as the 70-odd cars competing this weekend will have dragged gravel on the road where corners have been cut. Loeb may have already seen off the threat of the Ford drivers, but he still has his young teammate to worry about. Sebastian back on the attack in the second run through Revertal, and as expected there is a dusty layer on top of the tarmac. Could Loeb be at a disadvantage this afternoon? Mikko Hirvonen will certainly hope so, having lost more than half a minute in that wet stage 2. The Finn desperately needs to fight back.
Heti oikein hidas tiukka kivi sisällä ja lyhyt vasen täyssata.
Oh, but he won't do it like that. We've seen a number of incidents like that today. Mikko just running slightly wide and clipping the wall at the back of the car. I don't think he's got away with it either. Hirvonen's car slightly offline now. He must have damaged the suspension. It's another frustrating setback for Mikko.
This time I can say easily that was my own mistake. Just went wide in the start of the stage and hit the wall and damaged the rear suspension, so we need to go and have a look if we can fix it or do anything about it.
Hirvonen in trouble again then, but back in the stage, Loeb's teammate Ogier is looking really committed as he seeks to close that 4-second gap to the rally leader. Here comes the flying finish, and he could be quicker here. Yes, a good run for Sebastian. It's his second fastest time of the day. He's now just 9/10 of a second behind the leader. The fight at the front intensifies then, but for former leader Jari-Matti Latvala, his hopes of getting back involved are rapidly evaporating. A puncture held him up earlier, but now there is an engine problem. He's down to 3 cylinders and losing time fast. This is rapidly becoming a day to forget for Ford. Very sick-sounding Fiesta there, and as ever in rallying, one man's problem is another's opportunity, and Danny Sordo has certainly benefited from Latvala's woes. Already up into 4th with Hirvonen losing time. Danny has begun his pursuit of the podium positions. And defying his lack of experience in a World Rally car in Germany, Chris Meek has really moved up a gear in this first stage of the afternoon loop. 3rd quickest in stage 4, he's pulled further ahead of Petter Solberg and closed up on his teammate. So both Minis comfortably in the top 5 with Solberg in 6th. Very little between the 2 works Citroens at the front, while Hirvonen's now more than a minute behind. At least he's in the points though. Latvala's slipped down to 12th. 2 more stages to come on this opening day of the ADAC Rally Deutschland. They're coming up in a few minutes. Welcome back. The WRC action in the Mosel Valley continues shortly, but first let's get you up to date with the Support Championships. Juho Hänninen has become the dominant force in the SWRC this season, and after his emphatic win on home soil 3 weeks ago, the Finn has continued the momentum into Germany. Despite not being known as a tarmac expert, Juho set an impressive pace early on. Not as impressive as Martin Prokop though. The Czech star was the leader of the Super 2000 category after stage 1. In stage 2 though, his day would come to a very abrupt end. With Prokop taking a trip into the vineyards, it opened up opportunities for the chasing pack. Oyt Tanak claimed a scratch time in the wet stage 2 after taking the same soft tyre gamble as the works Citroens. He was running in 2nd after stage 5. And local star Herman Gassner Jr. had been having one of his best rounds to date on home soil, in the final podium place until he hit a wall on the final stage. Having built up a healthy lead, it was looking good for Hänninen, but there was more late drama, with Juho hitting the same wall as Gassner Jr. So it's Oyt Tanak who's the leader after day 1, with Hänninen and Gassner Jr. unable to make it back to service. They've been awarded 10-minute time penalties, elevating Carl Kruder up to 2nd. In the WRC Academy, meanwhile, championship leader Egon Kauer has found it tough on his least favourite surface. He's wisely opted for caution in Germany. After just missing out in a thrilling fight to the finish in Finland, Irishman Craig Breen has shown incredible pace on the first tarmac round of the year. Breen was involved in a tussle for 2nd place with Alistair Fisher until the Brit dropped back with a puncture on the final stage of the day. But out front is Spanish tarmac specialist Jere Lemes. Quickest in all but one of the stages run on day 1, he holds an impressive lead. The gap back to Breen is more than half a minute, with Italian Andrea Crinola also showing impressive asphalt form in 3rd. So to the final action of day one at the sport's top level, and it's well known that 7-time world champion Sebastian Loeb has an unbeaten record here in Germany. He is the current leader, but with his ambitious young teammate showing real signs of tarmac brilliance as well today, Loeb will be well aware he has a fight on his hands.
It was a good decision in the morning. We've done a good strategy with Ogier. Both we had a good tire choice for the morning. Now in the afternoon it was quite easy. It was dry, so hard choice was the best one. Everybody has the same. We are fighting hard with Ogier. He's pushing very hard, so we try to make the gap.
Mikko Hirvonen, meanwhile, has been forced to make roadside repairs to his wonky suspension after his scare in stage 4. For now, the straightened links are holding, and while he might not be able to match the work Citroëns, he is still the best of the rest, despite driving a patched-up Fiesta. Ogier, meanwhile, has maintained his pursuit of the rally leader. Almost 5 seconds down on his teammate in stage 5, he fails to match Loeb again in the day's final test. He's certainly keeping the pressure on, though. There's only 7.5 seconds between the leading pair at the end of the day. And how must Jari-Matti Latvala be feeling? A thrilling start to the rally saw the Finn lead in Germany for the first time, but a succession of problems have seen him plummet down the standings. Another puncture further compounds his misery. Petter Solberg is pushing as much as he can, but as we saw in Finland, he just can't seem to get enough from his DS3 to stay in touch with the leading drivers. His target now is to get back ahead of the Minis. And what an impressive day's driving we have seen from both Mini drivers on their first tarmac round in the John Cooper Works. Our featured driver Chris Meek has gradually begun to build on his speed today, although he has picked up a worrying engine glitch in stage 5. Oh, and it might have proved distracting. That spin, not what he needed, with Petter Solberg lurking a few seconds behind his 5th place. Meek does just enough to stay ahead of Solberg as the day draws to a close, but there's just a couple of seconds between them. Up front, though, the stage is set for another thrilling fight between Citroën's Frenchmen, this time for the first tarmac win of the season. Germany's proved as challenging as ever, and with Loeb's 8-year winning run under serious threat. Make sure you join us again tomorrow for the highlights from day 2. Follow the action as it happens on WRC.com. But for now, from Trier, it's goodbye.